There we go. Okay, so we got video, audio recording, plus we are now live. Not yet. Let me just pull up the stream software. Alrighty, so we are going to go live in a couple seconds here. The wrong title. Now I got the right title to get maximum crowd. All right, so here we are. Yay, we are live. All right, so yeah. All right, so you're looking at Bitcoin. It's my first educational video on TradingView. So we're going to talk about backtesting and the like. So we're looking at Bitcoin. So at the bottom here, you can see we have a Pine editor, strategy tester, and a trading panel. So what I'm going to load up here is a different strategy. So let me first show you the Pine logs. So the Pine logs, these are a new feature that TradingView just installed. And basically, if you're a coder, you want to know how to debug in logs. Back in my day, in the late 80s, early 90s, we didn't have IDEs, we didn't have fancy debuggers. All we had was just outputting to a file or to the console. So it's similar here, but it's just going to be put into a log. So the first thing here is this is from the blog post that TradingView put up last week. Hello, Pepe. And this example I'm going to show you is straight from TradingView itself. So I'm going to keep it really simple. So in here, this is the demonstration of the code. So you can see here we got log error, log info. You can also log warnings as well. And here on the right, when you run the script, here you can see Pine logs. So I'll load up this new interface. So the first thing to do to run it, to add this script to the chart, and then boom, there's all the activity for the logging. So you can see here we have bar index here. We can just specify we only want to see, oh no. So yeah, so you can see here, if I change the time frame, so we're on a daily, if I go on a, I don't know, a 1 minute, let's say, you can see here, this will update a lot quicker. So generally, let me just see here if this loads up. No, it doesn't. But in here, under here, you can load up your different levels of debugging you want, as I said, for warnings, info, errors, that sort of thing. So that's pretty handy to have within TradingView um, when you're coding up TradingView scripts or Pine scripts. So just something I want to show you. All right, so as I said, this is my first time doing an educational video, a formal one on TradingView. So I'm going to move over into backtesting. This is one of the strengths of TradingView. Fairly straightforward, no matter what your level is. So I'm going to put this back to, I don't know, 2 hours, what I like. Let me get rid of this as well, and we'll load a new script here. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to load up another script here. So in here, I'm going to load up, there was a script called greedy, something greedy. And just so you know, from a Pine script perspective, there is strategies, indicators, and it's no different with any other language. Usually strategy is the one that's going to run your code. So in here, I'm going to load up the source code. So if you go into the Pine editor, here's the source code for the greedy down here. Didn't load up properly. Okay, so let me try to do that again. Okay, so here's the greedy strategy. No. Okay. Let me just see here. I don't know why it's not taking. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll get rid of that new indicator. Now we'll load in our greedy strategy. There we go. So here's the source code for the greedy strategy. We don't need to go through that in detail. As I said, what you need to do is you need to add to the chart to execute it to get it ready. This is the interesting part here is the strategy tester. This is the back testing process within TradingView. And this is how it goes. So this is a new thing they've added called deep back testing. So basically you generate a report. So in this case, we're going back um, the period of August 16th, and we'll go up to today, the 3rd of September, or sorry, the 5th of September, and we generate a report. And remember, we're using Bitcoin. Okay, so here's the performance summary. So usually you want to get a profit factor of at least one, higher the better. You want to obviously have a lower max drawdown. Yeah, let's get rid of this. Hopefully this will. No, okay, it doesn't matter. Anyway, so we've got our drawdown. You don't want it. Usually, industry standards no more than 15% drawdown. Average trade is the size of the position and the number of bars for the position to close. So in this case, 2 bars. We set it here at 2 hours. So in here, we can also look at the general performance. So here we've got our net profit, gross profit, all the other metrics that you would typically get in a strategy. Um, pretty pretty strong stuff, if you want my opinion. And then if you want to take a look at the list of trades as if this is simulated. So there have been trades today on the 4th, or sorry, yesterday. Remember, this is Bitcoin we're dealing with right here. And this is 24/7. So here we can go yesterday's trading, again, more trading. Here we have profit of a loss here, or sorry, a loss, a cumulative profit in total, and the drawdown if there is any. So in there, you can take a look at the overall parameters for this time period. So if you go under properties, you can set your initial capital at $1 million, have a base currency of whatever you want. My case, obviously, is going to be US dollar. That's what it defaults at. You can have your order size changed around and all the other fancy schmancy stuff. So in terms of style, I think this is just the charting and visibility and all that. So that's how you set parameters in a back test as well as the parameters for the strategy as well. So as you could tell, this is not a really great performing strategy. This is an open source strategy as well, the greedy strategy. Um, when does it work is probably the question. Well, what you can do is if you go under strategy tester, let me just pull this back up here. So let me change the periods here. I'm going to put it to the beginning of August, generate report. Now this is using this back testing feature. So if I go back under overview, what we want is we want to get this profit factor boosted. What we can quickly find out is if this strategy will work for Bitcoin as it is over this period of time. Now, if I, let's say, put it to an hour, will it improve? Let's see. So, yeah, okay. So it does improve on the profit factor with the profitability percentage at 39.8%. Now, you can see here we have a number of trades. This is over a 5-week period. So this I'm not sure. Like you have to be careful on these reports because they're not going to be accurate. It's just more of a guide. So here we're within the drawdown because it's been pretty well flat, as you can see. Average trade 287, and again, two hour hold on these open positions. So if I keep narrowing down to, let's say, a 5-minute time period, can we improve the strategy? You can see here, this is when the strategy will work, okay, for greedy strategy. So if you boost or lower to 5 minute period, you'll get profit factor 1.5, net profitable, so winning positions of 45%. But here's the problem, is that you're trading 1,300 trades over that time period. So the question becomes, if you factor in the commission, will you still be profiting, right? That's the overall question. So again, we can see the overall net position we would have made. It started at 1 million. So we would be up only 0.79% over that time period, which is okay considering it's flat. But the amount of positions you take on, that's quite a lot. So you're probably going to lose uh, when you factor in all your commissions because there's so many positions. So this is just some of the ways to see if a strategy is profitable, and what kind of strategy will work under what market conditions. Because right here, it's completely flat, right? So this strategy, in my mind, is not a very profitable strategy. Whereas, let's say something that's rallying right now, I could go to oil because that's been rallying for the last little while. Let's just put in a CFD from Oanda here, or FXCM. Or let's just do this TVC. So I'll do a 1 hour time frame for this strategy. So you can see it's consistently rallying all since July. So that we can see if this strategy is more of a momentum or a trend following type of strategy that will work. So again, we're using the greedy strategy. I'm going to go now farther back to, I don't know. So it started to take off here June 23rd. So I'll do that on June 23rd here. So that's the time frame between June 23rd to today. Generate the report. Let's see what we got here. So really hasn't really changed much, that strategy. I don't know if it's along here's the problem, or it might be better here to start the test here starting on August 23rd. So let me do that. So August 23rd, generate report. Let's see what the profit factor is. Surprisingly, it's not as high as you think it should be. Everything, well, here's an average trade of losing money. So if I go under performance, yeah, it's actually losing money here for the net profit. Remember, this is starting at $1 million. Okay, so what you want to do is you got to kind of play with it. So we're on 1 hour. So let's say how many positions did that trade? 184 over 2 weeks. And again, you got to factor in your commission. You got to factor in um, the overall profit of each trade, and so on and so forth. So if I go, let's say if I do a daily time frame, let's see what will happen here. So with the same time period, I generate that report. So now we got 13 positions and it's not as profitable, right? It's only 0.26. Remember, we want it at least at one, the profit factor. So only 30% win ratio, and it's actually losing more money. So what happens if I go, the prior test was for 1 hour. So let's say if I go back to a 5 minute time frame, generate a report, let's see what happens here. So you can see here now we're getting more profit, right? At 1.5, 45% win ratio, total closed positions. So that again, we're going to have the same problem, over 1,000 positions, average trade, very little profit. Uh, not, but it holds the position longer, over 7 bars. So it'll be 7 bars times 5 minute. So 35-minute time hold on average. Performance here, net profit 36. So remember, we're starting at $1 million as our starting capital. So it didn't really make any money considering we could have basically made, should be making money, but it's just the wrong type of strategy. So let me load in a new strategy here and just try something. So let me go back to the Pine editor and load something else up. So I'll go into a built-in script, which are all the available ones sort-wise. And let me see if I can find. Now we're on oil, so we know it's momentum. Let's see if we can find a momentum strategy right here. So we'll try this. I don't know this strategy, but here's the source code. And then we'll go back to our strategy tester. Um, you just toggle this back. So I'm going to just change the day here for August 24th, generate a new report. Let's see what the profit factor is for the overview. So much better, much better. So this is what you need to know about when it comes to setting up online strategies. You want to have the right strategy for the right market conditions over the right set of days when this is going into a momentum. So again, we figured the momentum would start on the 24th to today, so it's over the last 2 weeks. Really nice profit factor, but let's see the performance here. Still not a lot of cash, but the profit factor looks good. I could probably boost the number of positions or the orders. So if we go under overview here, click on this wheel thing, um, and then just take my order size and boost it. Um, let me do, I don't know, 10. That might boost it a little bit. So again, that's important now on your account size. So the bigger your account size, the bigger your positions per trade. 45% profitable, profit factor 1.5. Max drawdowns looking tolerable. Average trade, not very much money, surprisingly, at 0.33. So all the same thing, but let's see if the performance. So yeah, it did go up a little bit, $357 on $1 million starting capital. Now, again, if I go back into here and boost the order size again, so if I have $1 million account initial capital, if I boost that order size to 100, this should boost our profitability, right? So depending upon your account size, your risk that you're willing to take on matters. So you can see here it did go up times 10 at 0.36. So is that good considering against the usual markets? That's okay. Okay, so these are open source strategies. Um, so some will be good, some may not be great. I think a lot of them will not be great, especially if you're in a market condition where everything is pretty well range bound. But I'm just showing you oil because there's a momentum to the market. Let me go further back to this rally started late June 23rd, I believe. Let's see how much our profit factor will go up here. So again, it's not gone up much. Same profit factor, percent profitable is okay, but you can see their average trade's $3. So, depends on your risk. And as long as the market conditions stay the same, you should be able to boost your profit. But these are all the factors you got to factor in to get maximum profit. So those are the different type of conditions and controls you have over each strategy that you want to test. So that's just generally the high level of doing this, but you can see the back testing is pretty good. Now, when it comes to actually live trading, you can hook them up to any of these brokers among the other supported brokers and exchanges with TradingView. So you could do Awanda, Interactive Brokers for crypto. You could do Binance, OKX. You could do Bitstamp. Depends where you live and what exchange you can go with when it comes to the world of crypto. All right. So once you start going live, you can have this running 24/7 on the trading view servers, and you're just checking every so often just to see if it's still profitable or the market conditions change, and you have a fully automated trading system on certain assets that are in play. So I'm going to go back to Bitcoin here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up now a mean reverting strategy because everything's kind of gone range bound. So I'm going to try to load in an appropriate strategy for the current market condition of Bitcoin. So I'm going to put in a mean reverting strategy. Okay, I'll have my own scripts available. Let's see here if there is any mean reverting strategy. Doesn't look like there's anything mean. Let me just see. So we saw a trend. If any of you guys want to see a strategy, just let me know that you and I could back test it against something. So I don't know. Let me try this super trend strategy if this does anything. So again, I'm just pulling these out of my butt, as you can tell. So we have this one strategy, gonna add it to the chart. Okay. So these are the things you want to look for is long and short entries. There's quite a few of those, so this is a very sensitive strategy. So let me go back to 2 hour time frame for Bitcoin. So we're trying to cover this condition, but we have these strategies here that look good. If Bitcoin breaks out, so you can see here, this is when they break out. This is that kind of strategy. So let me run that. So we have this strategy all loaded up. Update on chart, strategy tester, generate the report. Now again, this is going as far back as June 23rd. Okay, so we have a profit factor of 1.0, 30% win ratio, $188. It's not as good as gold, but it's not as good as anything. Like you want to see stuff that does really well, right? But the thing is that you're able to backtest like just instantly and be able to load up any of the instruments that you want, in this case, Bitcoin, against any of the brokers that are supported by TradingView. There's no third party software you got to plug in. There's no, I mean, I've never seen anything as good as this. And then once you find something, all you got to do is go to the trading panel and hook up, connect into your trading account, and then either the supported broker or exchange as said, activate it, and you're off and running. And that's the beauty of TradingView, as I said. So this is what we want to find is these profit factors. The highest profit factor I've ever seen is 6, but that's when Bitcoin's just on a huge run up. So that's something you do want to look for if it exists. Um, let's try a forex pair. So I can tell you that USD Canadian is rallying right now. So let me pull up ON in this case. So you can see here, there's this nice sudden run up rally. So it started July 20, 23rd. So let me start the period then. So if you know that something's underway in terms of starting a rally, you can back test it. So in this case, we're running every 2 hours, 30% win ratio, profit factor of 0.5. It's not very strong. So there's two ways you can go about it. You can either change the time frame. Let's do a week. Generate report. 10 trades, 10% profitable, not very strong at all. You can see here the losses as well. So it's not very, very good. Now, if I go to a 5 minute, let's see if that makes a difference. And again, this is for a fast rallying pair, USD Canadian. So here, 32% win ratio, it's much better than what it was before. Still taking losses. So if you look at the performance, net profit, it's losing. So again, we're pretty well, in a nutshell, working with the wrong strategy, or something's wrong with the strategy. I can't say what's wrong, but let me change the strategy and see. And we're going to keep this USD against the Canadian dollar. So let me pull up another strategy and we'll go back to the greedy strategy, see if that did anything different. So pull that up, um, update on chart. Okay, so, okay, I'm not sure if it took there. Let me go back to a daily chart, update on chart, add to chart. Oh, okay, there we go. So we'll generate a report. So it doesn't look like there's any trades at all. Nothing got triggered on this strategy for the greedy strategy, and that's on daily time frame. Let's change it to hourly. So you can see there's this nice trend there. Let's generate that report. Yeah, there's something happening here. I don't know why. Um, but this is all experimenting with these type of strategies. I will tell you um, the different strategies. I mean, custom coded probably are a lot more effective. Um, there is one strategy I could take a look at. It's related around Donchian. Let's see if I can find it as an example. Um, let's see here. So I'm going to load up another strategy here. So as you can tell, I'm just kind of screwing around, but I just want to show you how quickly you can play around with these strategies and kind of experiment, change your parameters in terms of your time frame, your period that you're watching, that sort of thing. So this one does not have any orders in it, so that's not a strategy. This is more of an indicator. Um, let's see. Let me just pull up a simple one, like an RSI strategy. See if that might, or better yet, let's do an SMA cross. Those are pretty reliable. Is there anything cross? Okay, so there's a moving average cross. Okay, so this is a very simple, but it's not strategy. Um, let's see if we have any cross strategies. Now, these are all indicators. Let me just see if we have a SMA strategy. No. Um, let's see if we have any. Let me see if I can do an RSI strategy. Okay, here's an RSI strategy. Oh, that one. Okay, so that's already loaded. That's the chart. Okay, so we're now going to load up our next report here. Now this is using RSI. Okay, this might be a more straightforward strategy. So here, this is what we want to see. This is exactly what we want to see. They always say simpler is better. And you can see exactly using just a simple RSI. 70% win ratio, 1.84. Uh, the return's not that great per position, zero point 0.2. But how's the overall performance? Yeah, it's not very strong. But let me go down to a daily time frame. Maybe that might improve. Um, no, it doesn't even improve at all. Let me go to a 4 hour time frame. Okay. So again, nothing's really changed. You see, it's kind of make some cash here, take some losses here. So it's really hard to find these strategies in these market conditions. But um, the way to make money here, from what I'm seeing, let's do a 5 minute. So from July 23rd to today. Let's see here. So again, okay, so 60.5 win ratio, 0.83 profit factor, still losing money. So again, it's a whole mixed bag of results here. That's why I'm working on my strategies. One of them I can't really show yet because it's not complete, but there might be something similar. Let me just try to load something up here. It's related around Bunny and Donchian. If you look that up, built in. Let's see if we could find anything Bunny. No. And as I said, there's no Gaussian. Gaussian seems to be what a lot of the professional traders use, institutional. So I'll give you a concept of how this works. So add to chart. So this is an indicator update on chart. Okay, let me get rid of this. Okay, so what you're looking at here, just the kind of strategies I'm working on. And this is similar to a let me do a 1 month chart here. So what we're going to design, which is very effective, that'll make good cash. This is similar to a Bollinger. So this is the average move in red, okay, as the center point between the upper band here and the lower band on the Donchian. And how it works is when this lower band touches the actual price, that's considered an entry. Here, here, um, here. So when you see the lower band touching the current price, that's when you take a position. But the thing is it's going to load up automatically on position. So it's not like going to do a open and then a close and open and then a close. It doesn't do that. What it will do is it will accumulate entries, okay, as the price moves up. And as long as the price continues to move up and the Donchian touches the current price, it'll keep loading up those positions. So the exit will be when you see the upper band touches the current price. That's when you exit. So you could have a situation like here, okay, that would be an entry, and because the price now is touching the upper band, that would be an entry and then an exit. But there's sometimes an instance. Let me pull up a better, like on a slower time frame with a solid trend. Let's see here, do a monthly. So right here, let's see if I could find an example. So right here you have an entry, but here's an exit, another exit, and these exits. But you will find on average, like right here, we have an entry, and then somewhere along here there'll be a an exit. So this is one of the better strategies I found, and it's not really uh, it's a very universal strategy. It doesn't work on all time frames and all instruments for asset classes, but there's the right time and the uh, wrong time to load up a these strategies. So another strategy I can show you is one of mine is the let's see. So as you can see here, the bunny experiment. That's what I'm working on. We have swing strategies. I can. Yeah, let me show you. Let me show you. Maybe there's a good swing strategy we can load up. Maybe here by going here. Okay, so we have a swing strategy. I like this provider Lux Algo. They're probably the best in the business on TradingView. So let's see what's happening here. Okay, so we want that one. Okay, I'll pull up the source code. So now it's in our editor. So you can see it's read only, uh, which is fine. So I'll add it to the chart. Let me get rid of the other indicator here. So you can see here, we have different patterns here. I'm not sure if this will do orders. Let's see here. I don't think there's orders in here. Yeah, so there's no orders, so there's no data. But still, you could see that it recognizes different patterns here. So that's pretty sophisticated. Let me load up another strategy here. Um, Another swing here. Okay, try this swing strategy here. Uh, get rid of that last one from Lux Algo. Okay, so this one is a new strategy from whoever it is. This is all the comments. Okay, let me pull up the other strategy. Okay, there we go. Clean. It's all clean. Yay. All right, so we want the swing strategy. Boom. Hmm. Okay, so we do have source code with strategy. That's where it does the order. So we should see some orders here. There we go. So 48% win. Profit factor is not too bad. Let's look at so you can see here, it's not great because it's not making money or losing money. But again, that's on a 30-minute. If I want to slow down the trades, go down to a daily, generate another. You can see this is what I call false positives. There's an entry. Actually, I might be wrong here. Let me just run it. 4 positions, 8 positions, 62% profit factor, looking good there actually. Uh, profit. I'm not sure why it's not updating the profit, the performance here. But those are pretty good metrics alone on this. 62% win, 1.6. So yeah, I guess each position is not making enough money. That's probably why the performance summary is not clocking in there. But let me go to maybe a weekly to slow it down. Generate another report. One strategy. I'll have to go farther back. Let me go back 1 month or 2 months. Let's just see what happens if there's any data. 2 positions, same thing. It's hard to say. The markets are very challenged. Hello, Casey. Hi there. If you guys got any questions, just let me know. I know I rambled on. I meant to let people know. If you guys got any comments, let me know. I mean, that's the whole point of these live seminar or live webinars on TradingView. If you guys got questions, let me know. Just type them up. But what I want to show you is the debugger, which I just showed you here. Um, that's new. Also, the highlight really is the backtesting. What I will tell you, I'm not seeing any facility. I mean, motorway is pretty good there. It's similar, but this is a little more detailed, and there's less the connectivity and everything in TradingView is much better. The big one, if you're on interactive brokers, there's no need for TWS, the trader workstation, because it's all encapsulated within TradingView itself. Plus, you don't have to pay extra for the data. Even if you did, you pay like $3 versus like in my case for you want to do stocks like basically what's it called DX feed at 45 a month. So you don't have those extra costs. Let me try one example here. Let me pull up a better stock here. Maybe just try something with Apple. Maybe we can get some better data. So you can see there. Yeah, this might be a little better. Um, do a year to date. So that's a nice steady nice steady trade there. So generate the report. 62% profit factor. Okay, so there's our profit factor right there. 41 cents per trade, which is not very good. But that's again over the last year to date. But if I go back, let's say I go back 5 years, let's see how this goes. Right. So I'm going to go back to, I don't know, we'll go back to 2020. Let's say the beginning of the year, we're pretty close. Okay, so generate the report. So this is a long-term strategy, buy and hold for Apple. So it only took 4 trades, profit factor 3, did make a lot of money. And again, is this accurate or not? I don't know. But remember, you're starting with $1 million, right? So it's not the best strategy to work for this swing strategy, right? Whereas if I changed it, same parameters, I'll load up that greedy one and see if that makes a difference. Greedy strategy, update on chart, add to chart. Okay, so there's a lot more activity here on a 5-year, doing a weekly view. Okay, so that's starting back February 1st, 2020. Let's generate a report, see if this is a better strategy. $33. Not very much money. And then the overview, 79 trades, 58%. I mean, it's okay. Average number of bars per trade. It's not making a lot here. But are you a breakout trader? Yeah, I am. Casey, let me think. I can show you an example of a recent. Like I'm always about breakout, so I'm just trying to think of one. Let me pull up one that's been performing okay. Uh, uh, Zero. No, I know Cisco was one. Let me pull up Cisco here. That's been performing pretty good lately. So that's what we're looking for as breakout. So Cisco might be a good one. Let me do a monthly. So you can see here it's been performing pretty good. Just been over the last, so there's since September 23rd, it's come off. Oh, sorry, the 5th, but generally it's been performing real nice. Um, so just in the last few days, or so yeah, so that's since the 5th, so today. But overall, it's been trending pretty good. It's not the best breakout um, stock out there, but if I generate a report on that, let's see how that's been doing. 42%. But if I go back just 1 month, let's see how that's been doing. Um, so I'll put in, I don't know, August 1st. When did that start? Yeah, so the break, I'll put in August 1st. Okay, so that's August 1st, 30-minute. Let me do a daily here. And this is using the greedy strategy. That's available open source. See all the different positions there? This is what I don't like. So we got 11 positions. Wow. Profit factor 1.6. That's strong. Percent 81% profitable, right? Let's see the performance. $1.37. Now I don't know if this is accurate or not, but I do think overall I go with definitely the overview, just using these two factors. The max drawdown is not too bad. 2 bars, and that's so it only took on 11 positions. Um, let me see the trades. So did trade here, and the profit's very small per trade, 43 cents. You can see here if you started trading it, um, yeah. So it started taking losses here. So this is not, as I said, this is not a top stock to breaking out. But generally Cisco's been pretty consistent. Now let me pull up, if you want to boost the profit, let me do a 1 hour. If you got any questions, Casey, Lewis, let me know. So in this case, yeah, see what happens when we go to hourly? 42% win ratio and we lower our profit factor. Whereas opposed, if we just went with daily, we would have better results just by clicking stuff like this. So we know exactly um, the better parameter. time frame to run this on. So profit factor 1.6. It's okay. Let me try a 4 hour. Okay. So generate the report. See how just that difference between and daily and 4 hour makes the profit potential is cut in half, quite literally. So if I go to a weekly, just see if that makes a change. Same time frame, no data, so there's no trades on the weekly. Now, sometimes if you go down to a 5 minute, this might make a huge difference. So it's 111 trades, but again, it's not as profitable. Profit factor goes up, but you're dealing with the total closed trades 111, and the average profit per trade is only a penny. So it's not very profitable for that time frame. So this is the conundrum you got to go through. And if you keep going through this, you will find a winner. Um, so we've done oil, we've done a stock, a high performing stock. I'm just trying to remember of any of the other high performing stocks that would be a name brand. I mean, another one that's been kind of performing is Xerox. You can see here did fairly well in this period, September 1st, August 23rd. So there's your breakouts right there. Let's just see how that's resulted in. Um, and that's 5 minute time frame. Let's see how that did. So overview, yeah, so 38%. So Cisco's a better stock to go with on this, running this greedy strategy. It's got better, per, higher percentage of winners per trade, and profit factor was 1.8 with Cisco. So just doing this kind of analysis is important to be able to determine what is the better stocks to go with. Can you look at PSTG? Yeah, sure. PSTG, pure storage. Yeah, storage companies are good for this time frame. I see what you're saying. You want to probably measure these breakouts here. Let me do that. Let me know what time frame you want. Um, Pine overview. Yeah, so it's not as high. Good profit factor though, very good actually. But again, it's only 5 cents per trade. Now I'm on a 5 minute. Let me go to a 1 hour. See if that improves it. 69, 31%. So the profit factor goes down. So yeah, you want to go down to like a 5 minute. Maybe the daily might be a little better. It's hard to say. So you can see all these false positives, as I call them. Percent winning percentage is only 25, but the profit factor is really good. One factor you got to factor in is it low volatility. So this period might have been really good, but it's because it's now gone range bound right here. The profit's not as good. So I'll take a look at the data. This is daily. Yeah, this is daily. Casey Lewis. That's daily. So if you could have captured this run up, then yeah, that's your breakout. Now the question is, will it break out again? It looks like it is, but for whatever reason, that's a very low percentage. Now sometimes if you go to, I don't know, let's say a 5 minute, see if that goes up. 96 trades, profit factor 1.8 average. Let me see the performance. Now remember we're starting out at $1 million. That's only $4 we're making. Okay. One thing I will tell you, the big advantage with TradingView is the second 5 second time frame to go sub 1 minute. That's huge. Now, just as a comparison, you got how many positions here? You got 96. So I'll just show you let's say a 10-second time frame just for leaps and giggles. 36%, 1.15, 100 trades. Yeah, it didn't change anything. So you say daily chart entry at 41 with a stop loss of 21, with a price target 71, with a 2-to-1 win ratio. Yeah, unfortunately, with this process, you cannot calculate the win loss ratio because, as said, you're working the data you're working with is what I'm showing you here. The profit factor percent wins right here. But if you go under performance here, let me just see what we got here. If we have um, max drawdown, Sharpe ratio is very low. Obviously, you want that to be preferably at 2. Um, all the commission, I guess you pre-program that in your settings. Um, losing trade, winning trade. Yeah, I don't know. It looks okay. Um, let me pull up my latest report. I could probably show you some breakout potential here. Just give me a second here. I'm going to pull up my spreadsheet here. So I'll show you what's going on in the market overall. Um, so part of my reports that I have is these are the sectors. So this is still going to show you for August, the spreadsheet. August was a very challenging month. Okay, so these are all of the sectors that were available to trade. Okay, so you can see here out of 64, only barely 14 were profitable out of 64. Oh, let me just sort these, of course. Sorts. You want returns. That's for the month too, percent wise. So you can see here, this is what you want to focus on are these. That's what you want to focus on are the metal commodity. Agriculture was better, but you can see just barely, it's very little profit here. But if you knew what sector to focus on, you'd be focusing on the metal. That's where the profit was for the month. Okay, so let me see if I could show you some metal, uh, some metal performers here. Okay, so these were generated just not too long ago, like today. Um, the number one factor you want to also take in is volatility is a factor, very important because if you're working with stocks that are very volatile, they're not going to be very profitable because of the whipsaws that come into it. So here we are. Okay, so these are our potential profitable stocks. Okay, so I generate these every day. All right, so let me give you an example. So as I said, I've shown you Cisco looked pretty good. So we have this one called Permian. So if I load that up, and that's a low volatile stock. So Permian Resources. Um, so that's from today, on a 10-second. But if I show you the daily, nice, really nice run up there. Okay. So if I pull up the strategy tester, run the same report with the previous stocks like Cisco, that PTSG overview, let's see how much that's improved. Okay, so in there you can see 53%, 57%, but look at the profit factor, 3.6. That's the highest I've shown you of any stock, forex pair, anything. Am I a fundamental trader? I'll answer that in a question, but what I want to show you is the profit factor right here. 12 cents per trade, so it's a lot higher than any of the other stocks. Okay. And again, we're dealing with a profit factor, so it's only up. Well, it's the highest I've shown you tonight at buck 66. Now, the question for again Casey Lewis was, "Am I a fundamental trader?" Um, I would be, but see, I'm using automation, so you only have so much data you can work with to call yourself a fundamental trader. Now, the things that I look for in trading, and I've shown this before. Number one is volatility. So if you're looking for profitable trades in stock, you want low volatility. If you're dealing with very high volatile stocks, you're gonna probably lose money. In my case, I filter out a lot. So I scanned over 1,000 stocks today, and it generated me only 25 stocks to choose from. So out of 25 stocks, out of thousands, and then filtering it down to the so-called top performers out of 1,000, only 25 were selected. So when it comes to the fundamental component, what I'm looking for are leading indicators. So this is from this number here, recommendations. These are leading indicators for recommendation on what institutional advisors are recommending on these stocks. So it's six, not very strong, but in this tough market, six is okay. But here's the key as a fundamental trader, leading indicators only. You have here the strong buys and buys, but the key here is you don't see any, let me repeat, any sells or strong sell recommendations. None exist. So that's why it's so low for these stocks from 20, only 25 from over 1,000, right? So these are really good stocks. So to time yourself, if you're a breakout trader, how do I know I'm on a breakout? Well, I've talked about that before. This is a technical indicator called a rune and a rune down and a rune up. For the breakout, this is measured between 0 to 100. So if it's at 100, it will break out. But what you also want to factor in, you don't want to have a rune down. So you want to only focus to have high level of buys and strong buys with no sell or strong sell recommendations combined with an Arun up of 100 and an Arun down of 0. So if I was to show you this stock here of Hawken as an example, that's the top one. Um, so that's HWKN. And I can, as I said, I can generate these every day. So this is a combination of my breakout and my fundamental. So right here, you can see it's just running up. Now, most people wouldn't find that stock at all. But these systems that I've got, these strips I've generated, are able to do that using the factors out of thousands of stocks and getting the timing right. So basically, what this stock looks like, let me pull up the strategy here and just run it. So these are just examples again. So if I run the generate report, let's say, well, let's run it from the 1st of August. So I'll generate a report to today. So you can see here, winning factor 70, very strong again, 3.6. Profit factor, average trade 43 cents, which is much higher than what I've shown before. 2 bars held. Performance 429. Okay, it's not great, but that's the best I've seen so far from tonight, including Bitcoin and oil. So that's your best performer right there, right? And you can see it in the chart. Let me pull up another chart here, clean one. So HWKN, and then you'll get your standard stuff. Because this is what you want to see, that breakout. Okay. And most people wouldn't find that at all, as I said. So right here, you can see that breakout. So if I do 5-day, and I'll get rid of those this indicator here. So this is the top of the top right now, as far as I can tell. But it's super volatile. But again, looking at that chart or the spreadsheet of this one, the ranking low, it's a very low volatile stock. And it's considering pull up a 5-day. Looks like we're on the tail end of that breakout. Yeah, you can see it's dropping back, but if I compare that to something like, let me pull up your other stock here that you wanted, the PSTG, just as a comparison, you'll see the difference. PSTG, this is the one you recommended, Pure Storage. So you can see here what's happened is you're kind of getting an earlier trend, but we're on the tail end of that. But this one's looking better on the breakout because it's the from today's market on the decline as it was, it's held its own pretty good. but then you still have these dips, which you're not getting in this stock. So that's why this stock is not picked because of that volatility, right? So again, this is a 30-minute. Let me pull up a daily. You can see this one easily outperforms the Hawkins, and that's kind of going into its next early, early breakout. But the problem here is um, when you compare the drawdowns, this is what's important. When you have a drawdown, Hawkins is holding it pretty good with strong support between these periods here, whereas this one's kind of pulled back a lot and then it comes back and then it goes range bound and it goes into a breakout again. So comparatively, yeah, you want the lower volatile stocks, which I'm pulling up from the spreadsheet. I mean, I'm able to pull up all kinds of other stocks, but comparatively, uh, these ones on this list will always most likely outperform the last month or two. If you got any other stocks, let me know. But yeah, that's the dilemma. But this one, the Hawkins, uh, doesn't whipsaw negatively as hard as this one does. This um, what's it called? PSTG. So that's the difference, and what it's the volatility that matters. You want to avoid those kind of stocks. Whereas another example here, if I get rid of this one and you compare it to, let's say, um, a simple, if you want to build wealth, this is the best one for as a defense play. If everything goes bad, USD Japanese yen, right? You can see how it doesn't perform, but it doesn't whipsaw either. So if I took let me think, well, we'll do a year to date. So the USD Japanese yen did not have very little whipsaws. So it's a very strong, stable currency. So when things go bad, this is what you pile into is the USD Japanese yen. Whereas here, you're getting a 60% win ratio or a return over 12%. 12% is pretty good. So 12% year to date, USD Japanese yen, that's pretty good. But here, again, with this stock, you're at 59%. So whereas if I pull in uh, NVIDIA as an example, you'll see that volatility matters. So here you get 239, 60%. Um, yeah, actually, it's not a bad looking stock, actually. So but that's a year to date daily. But you can see here, I had a bit of a decline there, but this just goes up. I mean, I can't compare NVIDIA, right? But or Tesla is another good example. TSLA. So yeah, you can see that steady decline there, but yet you're still getting performance out of the Hawken. So things like that matter, and this would be considered a volatile stock, Tesla. One that's not volatile. There's actually two I can show you. It's from a buy and hold perspective. Um, Another good one is Alphabet or Google. Um, See, this one's easily outperforming, actually almost double Google, right? And that's a Magnificent Seven stock, right? That's a year to date, right? So you're going to get some interesting stocks that look good, but Hawken has done well. Now the question is, will Hawken still retain its profit as Google's starting to move up? So if you want to just do as a comparison, obviously trade here, right? You'd be up 30, 60% right there. Meanwhile, Google has only gone flat now, starting to move. Or another one that's low volatile is Amazon. Um, you can see there Amazon's done very well, right? Does has no drawdowns whatsoever. It's a good stock, right? Um, Same with probably Apple as well. I could do this forever, right? But it depends upon your portfolio and your account size. I like stocks under $100, right? But uh, Nvidia was performing really well last year, or TSMC is another great one. Um, I don't know if you guys know TSMC, but all the chip manufacturers go to TSMC to manufacture their chips. Um, so nobody really knows about this stock, but this one generally, even in a really bad market, this can generally do pretty good. So TSMC says it's here. Let me get rid of Google. I don't know why TSMC is not showing up. Yeah, so there you go. Your 255% return, right? So if I go to another chart just to get the price, this is why the US will defend Taiwan, just so you know. If they lose the facilities from TSMC, a good chunk of the US economy is going to get shut down. But you can see there, $61 from $40 to $61 since May. So it's almost gone up 50%. But it's under $100, right? So look at that rally there from August 23rd to now, right? So if you factor in over 5 year chart and you look at the time period in 2022, it's rallied pretty good, you know? So here, January, the price at 37. Well, it's actually gone range bound, but there are periods where it just rallied pretty good. If you knew about that, you guys got any other questions at all? But I just want to show you the comparison of different assets, but more specifically, is to use the right strategy for the right time for the right stock or instrument that moves. As I shown you, the greedy one seems to run really nicely on winners that are breaking out, call it, and at the same time are a stock. So it doesn't really perform well against Bitcoin, oil, and the like. Any other questions at all? But I just want to show you that how important and how easy it is with the TradingView. They call it strategy tester, but it's back testing, really pulling up the right strategy. You just got to know what stock or what instrument you want at that time, what's breaking out. So we make it easy because as I've shown you of some of the winners over the last month or so, what are moving and when you can break it out using those Arun up and Arun down indicators. You guys got any other questions at all? I'll do it going once 3 times and we'll shut it all down. Going once, going twice, going 3 times. So if you're watching, just go over to my YouTube. It's all in my signature, um, or Telegram as well, and you'll see all that fun stuff in the profile. Other than that, thanks for watching, and we shall talk to you later.